Well, images and information from the mass shooting at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas have been everywhere. Everywhere you look since that tragedy occurred on Tuesday. Parents are trying to comprehend it, and many do not know how to explain the situation to their children. So today we're getting advice from an expert. Nicolle Osequeda, a licensed family therapist out of Chicago, is the founder of the Lincoln Park Therapy Group. And thank you so much for being with us today.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
And I know adults everywhere have felt all the emotions this week: sadness, anger, frustration. And you say, first of all, it's okay. It's completely natural to feel all of these emotions.
It's absolutely normal to feel all of those emotions. And that's, I think, what makes it so difficult is as adults and caregivers, we're feeling those. And we also have the responsibility to talk to our children about it and be a support for them as they also learn information.
Sure.
And so what we are talking about, oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, how do parents go about talking to their children? Should parents wait for the kids to come to them, or do you recommend that they approach the kids right out of the gate and offer information?
Yeah, I do suggest that we initiate that conversation with our children, that we show our children that we are able and available to talk about this. Of course, depending on the age of the child, you're going to approach the conversation differently. So for a younger child, you may not share as much information, and you're going to use words and phrases that really resonate with them. And for older children, you may be able to have a more frank conversation with them about what happened. And so it's our job as adults and caregivers to really initiate that, so our children know there is a place to talk about it. It is okay to talk about it, and it's okay to come back and ask questions about it.
How do you make sure, I know you want to be honest with them, but how do you make sure you're also not scaring them so much that you're making it worse and giving them more anxiety?
Absolutely. And that's, I think, where the developmental stage and age really is important to acknowledge that for a younger child, you're probably not going to share details or use words such as mass shooting, but you might say something like, you know, something really sad happened at a school and people are grieving right now, or people are feeling really sad, or people are scared. And with an older child that already has more information about what shootings look like and gun violence, they may be able to engage in a conversation that is much more frank. But you really want to pay attention not only to the age of your child, but to who your child is. You know your child best.
Yeah, but what's a good age? I always have the news on when I'm cooking dinner. One of my daughters is almost 4, and she was asking me questions, and I was thinking, I don't know if I even want to approach this with someone that young.
Absolutely. And I think that's where media consumption right now is really, really important. I caught myself doing the same thing, listening to the news as we were together. And my son is only 2, but he also picks up on a lot. And so when to initiate the conversation is probably, if your child is at school or your daughter might be exposed to other people talking about this, is to approach it in that way that I said previously. Yeah, something really sad happened. Okay. If they're picking up on it, but probably not exposing them to those to the media bites or some of those words that can be really scary for us as adults, but particularly for children when they hear them.
What if you're on the other side of the fence? If your kid is maybe showing signs that he or she could be the aggressor years down the line, like maybe they're hurting animals, isolation, how can parents address that early?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think when you see that early, it's time to seek support. So starting always with teachers or the school, talking to a guidance counselor is really important. And then also if you need to seek support by a licensed therapist in the community, that's really important too. So when we see some of those warning signs, like we've all heard, it is our responsibility. We want to support our children. We want to support our community. So we want to take action early to make sure they're getting the help and the support that they need to process whatever may be coming up for them.
I know a lot of times parents are in denial. That we saw the mom of the shooter in Texas, and she just can't believe it. Not my son. He would never shoot his grandma. So I guess, first of all, parents need to be honest with themselves. So thank you very much for your time. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but we really appreciate this important conversation.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.